This is a Biden special. His administration has issued a back-to-school video for transgender students on Tuesday, pledging to crack down on states seeking to ban transgender students from girls' sports, bathrooms, and receiving transition-related care.
We know that many school administrators and educators are doing their best to make schools safe and welcoming places for all students, including LGBTQI students. We appreciate the work they do. But we also know that that's not the reality for all transgender students, including perhaps some of you. In some places, people in positions of authority are putting up obstacles that would keep you from playing on the sports field, accessing the bathroom, and receiving the supportive and life-saving care you may need.
We all believe that schools should be inclusive, and of course, any bullying or harassment of transgender students is just unacceptable. But the emphasis on the sports field is different, particularly given the contentious decision to let transgender weightlifter Laurel Hubbard compete in the women's comp in Tokyo. Joining me now is Katherine from the Save Women's Sport Australasia. Katherine, let's just explain to our viewers firstly why you create an unfair playing field by allowing these transgender athletes to play in girls' sport.
Well, the fact of the situation is that these transgender students are men and boys. So they're playing in the female sports category. And we all know that biological males have a performance advantage over biological females. It's as simple as that.
It's about muscle mass. It's about different hormones, and therefore you create an unfair playing field. What is he doing making threats about this? Shouldn't it be up to individual principals or school boards to decide how they're going to carry out these kinds of policies?
Well, you would think so, but the first day that Biden took office, he put forward an executive order relating to Title IX, where he essentially undid the marquee legislation that protected women in education. And Title IX was put into place 50 years ago, and that gave women access to the same resources that boys do in educational institutions.
It's fair to say that the Olympic Committee, the International Olympic Committee, didn't do enough to stand firm on this, and therefore have created your argument, or given your argument, a lack of support.
Yes, that's right. So the IOC put forward their consensus on the basis of incredibly flimsy, questionable evidence. And now it looks like they're going to be withdrawing that evidence, withdrawing their consensus altogether and pushing it on to the international sports federations. Now, you can guarantee that all the trans rights lobby groups will be lobbying very hard with these organisations to ensure that men and boys can compete in the female sports category on nothing more than a self-declaration.
And
That's what they want.
I haven't heard an argument from people like yourself that says, "Oh, we don't want them in women's bathrooms" or anything like that. Well, I haven't heard that discriminatory tone in any of this. It is about physiology. It's not about discrimination, is it?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, someone who declares a trans identity, if a male declares a trans identity, he's free to play in the male sports competition. No one is banning anyone. This hyperbole that these children are being banned from the toilets, banned from sports, it's just nonsense. I mean, we're saying that these areas need to be based on biological sex. I mean, it has implications for girls and women when men and boys come into those arenas. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. What's the next step in fighting this? Are there sensible people in the United States saying, "Hey, back off"?
Look, we've got Save Women's Sports over in the United States. They have been pushing forward legislation at a state level. 37 states have introduced legislation and 9 have passed. So that's all happening. And then when you look at the polls, so the UK, the US, Canada and Ireland have all conducted polls in this area, and 2/3 to 3/4 of people do not agree with policies that allow men and boys to play in women's sports.
No.
So the vast majority of people, are sensible and they see that this is a problem. So
Yep.
the IOC, the Biden administration, they're all out of touch.
Yeah, it makes a mockery of fairness in sport. I completely agree. Katherine Deves, thank you very much for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. Good evening.